was a semi-pro musician in the day, and we used to get all our gear at Jim's shop in Hamwell Broadway. It actually was my mum and dad's fish and chip shop before Jim took it over. But we'd always pop in there and get our stuff, like an echo box, an amplifier, or stuff like that. And went in one day, and Ken Brand, because Ken was a good friend, you know, we used to knock about together. And Ken was in there with Jim, and Ken said, "Come and have a look at this," in the back of the shop. I said, "What?" He said, "Come and have a look." And there it was, the amplet sitting up there in front of me. I said, "Wow." I said, "What's that?" He said, "That's our first 100 watt. I said, "You're kidding." It was very basic, but in those days, basic was the go, you know. I mean, it was wonderful. I thought, wow, you know, because I'd never heard a 100 watt amp when I hadn't. Then Jim held the introduction to the amplifier at a pub in Southall called the White Harts. And the amps were on the stage, the 4x12s were on the stage. Pete Townsend, John Entwistle, Keithy Moon, PA, da-da-da-da-da. We're all having a chat, you know, like you do. And then they announced the Who, and they're going to introduce you to the sound. Well, my God. That, my friends, was the start of this. We were all completely blown away. I don't think anybody said more than 2 words except wow, in a big way. And I went into the shop one day and Jim said, "What are you doing, Jim?" I said, "Well, at the moment, nothing." I said, "I work Friday, Saturday, Sunday with the band." I said, "But apart from that," he said, "Do you want to come and work in the factory?" I said, "Yes." And anyway, the first day I started, he said, "Would you like to go in the covering room?" which was at the back of the factory. And I thought, well, that's different. I said, "Yeah." Well, it was a lot different than this. You got your cabinet, the basic cabinet, you'd rub it down a little bit, then you'd shake the can of glue, and then you'd cover it. You can imagine how basic was in those days, you know. There was no pre-production with the chassis or anything like that. So you get a chassis turn up, and you put the board on the chassis, da-da-da. None of that. It was all done individually, you know. I lasted with Jim for quite a time, and I've got to say, with great respect to Jim Marshall, he was a wonderful man. And that's not BS, that's fact. It would be freezing in the factory. Jim was out there, he'd be doing something. Ken was the same, but Jim would never be sitting on his bum somewhere, I'm warm, blah, blah, blah. He was out there with us, mate. I've got great respect for Jim Marshall. I always will have. I mean, I feel a bit lumpy in the throat at the moment because he was such a wonderful man. He did the music industry the biggest favour that's ever been done. He deserved every accolade he got. He thoroughly deserved, and Ken Brand and Dudley. And I had the great pleasure of knowing him. The end.